Oh, yeah.
So I'm back with a double header of Knicks and Bruises. I want to introduce my next guest, fellow Knicks fan James. I met James at work. I seen James with the Knicks paraphernalia, so of course he was repping. I had to introduce him to the MBK fan and Sims channel, nothing but Knicks, and told him about my thoughts of starting my own channel, and he was gracious enough to bless me with his presence. So I'm gonna get right into it with Knicks and Bruises episode 4. James, thank you for joining me. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Big Knicks fan. It's only right. It's only right.
And we've been through a lot over the last 20, 30 years. So, I'm just trying to get Knicks fans opinions on their worst moments and some of the just the minor Knicks and the major bruises that we suffered through.
Mm.
So the floor is yours. You can start with the minors. You can start with the majors, whatever you prefer. This channel is pretty much for the guests. So floor is yours.
Well, I feel like it's about time we got Tom Thibodeau running the baseline. I 5 years ago, when there were talks of Tom Thibodeau getting hired, I said to myself, we need that type of coach. The guy that's going to set the tone on the defensive end, regardless of who the player is. I'm just happy with the hire and the showing right now with the way that the team is playing in both their wins and their losses. So I've been a Knicks fan for forever. Started became a Knicks fan listening to the Knicks on the radio. Uh, before I had cable, before television in the room, lived in a household where everybody watched TV in the living room. Um, so when I was in my room, had the radio on, and I just happened to fall in love with the game of basketball, and boom, the Knicks were on the radio. So, and I spent a lot of nights just listening to the Knicks on the radio, then eventually watching them on TV, and then the love for the team just grew from there. Um, I don't know which other direction you want me to go.
Well, I mean, what year you started? I mean, you sound like you've been a fan since at least the 90s, the Hewan era, or actually before then, if you're talking about the
Actually,
radio.
you're right. Let's say Doc.
I'm sorry, I lost you.
I had a friend of mine's call me. I had a friend of mine's call me.
All right, we're
So I
good.
cut off for a little bit. But I became a Knicks fan. Let's say 1992. Doc Rivers was Greg Anthony, Doc Rivers. That was the backcourt. And then listening to those games on the radio, you know. So yeah, I've been a Knicks fan for a long time. A long time. Through the good, through the few good moments, and through all the bad moments.
uh, so that's where we're gonna highlight some of your worst. Maybe give me your top three worst Knicks moments, and then you can give me three of some bad moments, but wasn't necessarily the worst.
Okay, so right off the rip, I should probably start. With the third worst moment. The third worst moment was Patrick Ewing's finger roll against the Indiana Pacers. I don't remember the exact year, but it was the playoffs, Game 7, I believe. And Patrick Ewing, I was excited. I can remember it like it was yesterday. My eyes are glued to the screen. My face is this close to the television screen. Patrick Ewing gets the ball. He does a fake. He goes to the basket. Finger roll, comes out. And I remember just looking at the screen and just being like this for like a good 3 minutes straight. My little sister just laughing at me, just laughing. So that's 3. Number 2, I would say was Smith getting blocked by Scottie Pippen 3 times in a row. That would be number 2. So I mean, I'm not mad at Charles Smith. I mean, Scottie Pippen is like a top 5 all defensive player of all time. So I'm not mad at that. But that would be number 2. And then at the moment I was mad at it, but when you think back and you realize who Scottie Pippen was, you're like, all right, cool, whatever. Number 1 though, number 1, and I love this guy to death. I met him at the Garden. I love this guy to death. John Starks 2 for 17 showing in the NBA Finals in Game 7. That was number 1. I hope you feel the passion I'm talking about right now.
Well, let me tell you this. I just had a guest on a little while ago. Shout out to Ebro from Nick Die Hard Knicks podcast. If you're not familiar, check him out. He's on YouTube. Mm-hmm. His first two mentions were exactly your first 2 mentions.
Oh, for real?
Yes. And I was telling him the Patrick Ewing finger roll, that seems to be on every single person's list. Whether it's 1, 2, or 3, it's definitely in their top 3. So I feel you, man. I think that right there is the consensus amongst fans so far. You know, I've only done 4. You're number 4, the 4th episode, but that's definitely been highlighted in every episode. So I agree, and I feel your pain. I feel your pain. What are some of your minor ones?
Minor, when it's minor. I mean, at the moment, I was like, wow. I talked about it for like a month straight. When the Knicks got into that big old brawl with the Heat. And I felt like that's the year they could have won the championship. You know, so I can't remember the exact year, but they got into a brawl with the Heat. I think Larry Johnson got suspended. John Starks got suspended. Charlie Ward got suspended. Half the team got suspended. And the Heat ended up taking that series. It might have been 1995. Am I wrong? I'm way off.
I think it was 94, 95.
Okay.
And it's funny because it's almost like you were watching the last episode because that was on the list as well.
Oh yeah.
I think we had so many suspensions that they had to divide the suspended players amongst the 3 games.
Yeah.
And I was highlighting that. Yeah, 100%.
That's a minor. I mean, it's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee that they would have won the championship that year, but I felt like that was a year with the type of team and toughness they had a legitimate chance at actually winning the championship. So that was hard. That was gut-wrenching right there. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, that's a minor. It felt like a major back then, but when I look back, it's a minor. You know? So that's one. Minor is when Melo blessed the Knicks with a 42-point, 15 rebound, 8 assist game against a stacked Indiana Pacers team,
and passed the ball.
And he didn't get no help from Amari Stoudemire, no help from nobody else on the roster, and we lost by, I believe, 3 or 4 points that game in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm saying it's a minor, but it was. Oh man, we wait.
Trying to remember
for Melo, man.
That wasn't the Jared Jeffries game, was it?
Jared Jeffries,
when he missed the chipper at the end that Melo gave him the ball, like that would have won the game.
Yeah. Yes.
Is that's the same game?
That's the same game. It was Game 6. I know it was Game 6 against the Pacers in the second round.
That's tough.
Last year, Melo. I think that was the last time the Knicks made the playoffs. So.
Oh no! The last time we made the playoffs was 13, right?
The third, I can't remember the exact date.
2012, 'cause the following year was
With Chauncey
Woodson. We
Billups.
just missed the playoffs with Woodson, and Phil Jackson let him go.
Okay. Gotcha. But that's a minor for me as well, because the Knicks didn't have a strong team to win the chip or nothing like that. But it was just exciting that the Knicks were in the playoffs and Melo was playing the way he was playing. You know, so he don't get enough credit.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And the treatment of Melo, from Phil Jackson, I think that was horrible.
Oh my goodness, yeah. That
One of my real big ones is the Roy Hibbert block on Melo that ended that series where we would have went home for Game 7 at the Garden.
Yeah.
That was a tough one, man. I couldn't believe he got that block. I'm like, old Melo would have kept going up. And, oh man, that was a tough one. Obviously you're a fan of this new Knicks regime, front office and coaching staff.
Definitely.
What are your thoughts on the future of this Knicks organization? Are you a fan of the direction? Are you a fan of the current roster? Anything you think we could do or should do to improve, or are you patient enough to wait it out and see where it goes?
All right. First and foremost, I'm only a fan of the coach and the draft picks of the current roster. That's it. I'm a huge Tom Thibodeau fan, and I love the fact that before we even drafted and before we even looked at signing free agents, we got Tom Thibodeau as a coach, so he could set the tone within the organization from what's expected. And then once they did that, turned around and drafted Obi Toppin, a dog on the defensive end, and quickly a dog on the defensive end, and you mesh that with Tom Thibodeau. So now, am I a fan of the direction the team's going in? With me saying that, yes, I am. Yes, I am. Definitely. I mean, any team, any team that represents New York, especially on the basketball side, gotta have some dogs on the defensive end, man. Really do. And we have a dog on the defensive end as a coach, and now we have dogs on the defensive end as young rookies. And we're gonna mold. I'm a Knicks fan for forever, so I'm definitely gonna be patient and hoping that we allow those players to flourish into what they can flourish into. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Well, I wouldn't be me if I didn't blow up your spot a little bit and talk about that one time I caught you caught you in the store with the Lakers mask on.
So my explanation for that is I went into Herkimer Walmart, right, looking for a Knicks face mask. They had Celtics, they had Chicago Bulls, and they had a bunch of West Coast teams. So they didn't have the Knicks. I actually went to the same spot for like a good 2 weeks in a row. I kept saying to the guy, "Hey, when you guys gonna get New York Knicks?" He turned around and said, "Mets." He said, "Mets. You looking for Mets?" I said, "Oh man, he don't know what he's doing." So I needed a face mask, so I just got a Lakers.
I hear you. I hear you. Like I said, at least, and it was a West Coast team, and I grant everybody the courtesy of at least rooting for one West Coast team.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I'm just busting your chops.
I'm not really rooting for a West Coast team. I love LeBron James off the court, so it's more so me rooting for him.
No
Yeah.
doubt, no doubt. I'm just busting. I'm just
Yeah.
busting chops. But it was funny how I'm like, hey, wait a second, man. What's that? You know,
Shirt, got the hat,
I hear you, man.
got
I
a
see.
I got a
Well,
2005 warm-up jacket.
well represented today,
Yeah.
man. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to keep it short and sweet.
Mhm.
This is I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Check out some of the other episodes.
I actually was. Yep.
Continue to support my guy at Nothing But Knicks.
Mhm.
We got Die Hard Knicks podcast. We got Blanche Tears, which is on at night from like midnight to like 6 in the morning, and
Oh
then
wow.
back on in the morning at like maybe 7 in the morning.
Mhm.
So he's we got you covered, man,
Okay.
for everything you want to talk about. We got more things coming. We trying to do a nice big movement of Knicks fans,
Mhm.
and if you ever interested in starting something or coming back on and talk about something, you got my digits and everything. Hit
Yep.
me up, and we could do this often, man.
Yep.
I appreciate it though.
Yeah. No problem, man. No doubt. Thanks for having me.
Salute. Stay on for a second. Shout out to the chat. Yo Black is time. Oh, we got my guy Divine. He's about to go live
Mhm.
in about 6 minutes with his premiere of his new show. We
Okay.
gotta check that out. Knicks Real Talk. It's a bunch of us, man.
Okay.
It's a bunch of us. Shout out to the chat, man. James, I appreciate it.
No doubt, man.